Fellow Ugandans and friends of Uganda all over the world, my name is Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. I escaped from my own house following a raid that was carried out by the military and police at my home on the orders of Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Museveni's son, and the Chief of Defense Forces. We had gotten earlier intelligence from our friends within the army that he had issued orders to his men to come and harm me. So when we saw them jumping over our fence on the night of 16th January, I somehow escaped from my home and left. That night they didn't enter into our house, they stopped in the compound. 3 days ago, they once again jumped into our fence, hurled profanities to my wife and threatened to break into my house. That was the second time. Now last night was the third time for them to raid us. They came in hundreds, according to my wife. They broke every door in our house, including those that were not locked. They took away all our documents, from academic documents, land title deeds, and all important documents. They took every gadget, phones, chargers. They took our internet system. They even took all the laptops, including children's school laptops. They also took away our CCTV camera system and destroyed anything that they could destroy, broke glass and cut even our chairs. They put my wife on gunpoint, demanding that she shows them where I was. They even forced her to remove the passwords from her phone and our laptops, but she refused. Well, these and many things that Museveni's regime is doing through his son and his other people are not signs of strength. These are signs of weakness. If Museveni claims that he won the election, why is he panicking? Why is he doing all manner of terrible things? Why is he harassing people? Why is he harassing me and my family? Those are signs of shame. Those are signs of illegitimacy. Now, my message to you, fellow Ugandans, I am not in my home because I still want to be able to speak to you like I'm doing. I'm not in my home because my life is threatened. I take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the international community for the voices that they've raised, but to also encourage them to keep an eye on Uganda, especially at this critical time. To you, fellow Ugandans, this is our country. All this is being done to intimidate us. They've abducted two of my deputy presidents, Lina Zedriga and Jole Tukamshaba. We don't know where they are. They've arrested Mwanga Chivumi, my deputy president in charge of Buganda region, and many other comrades to sow fear in us. I encourage you to be strong, to be smart, to be creative. These people are not as strong as they purport, and indeed they are not as smart as they are. They failed to find me for 8 days. I also tell you that we must never give up. Uganda is our country and we must fight and liberate it. I will resurface at an appropriate time. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, also known as Bobi Wine, and today is the 24th of January 2026. It's exactly 8 days since I escaped from my own house following a raid that was carried out by the military and police at my home on the orders of Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Museveni's son, and the Chief of Defense Forces. We had gotten earlier intelligence from our friends within the army that he had issued orders to his men to come and harm me. So when we saw them jumping over our fence on the night of 16th January, I somehow escaped from my home and left. That night they didn't enter into our house, they stopped in the compound. 3 days ago, they once again jumped into our fence, hurled profanities to my wife and threatened to break into my house. That was the second time. Now last night was the third time for them to raid us. They came in hundreds, according to my wife. They broke every door in our house, including those that were not locked. They took away all our documents, from academic documents, land title deeds, and all important documents. They took every gadget, phones, chargers, they took our internet system, they even took all the laptops, including children's school laptops. They also took away our CCTV camera system and destroyed anything that they could destroy, broke glass and cut even our chairs. They put my wife on gunpoint, demanding that she shows them where I was. They even forced her to remove the passwords from her phone.
At least 2 pages of the book I was reading. Then our askari told me, he told me these men have broken again, but this time they are more in number and they are not in the same uniform as that group that normally comes. So he said there are many, just prepare. So I asked him where he was, and he told me he was in a safe place. Our place is a very big place. He was in a place where we pump water from. So I switched off the phone, switched on the lights, put away some phones, and then locked the bedroom. But then I saw that wasn't wise. I opened the door to the veranda to get at least a video, some evidence, because such a number, I knew when they come, they'll take out every kind of evidence. So I took a video and sent it to my son and told him, Solomon, these people are here, but this time it's a bigger number, it's a different group. He said, can I post this? I said, please post it. Then I called our other son. I call him son, but I called Dax. Dax is Bobi's younger brother. I called him and said, Dax, this is the end. He said, what do you mean? I said, these people are here. So I locked the bedroom and then I walked downstairs. They had already put ladders at the front of the house. On those stairs, they had put ladders and were climbing to come to the veranda of our bedroom. So I locked the bedroom and walked down. Then I went to the bathroom, the general bathroom downstairs, and I called one of our neighbors. Everyone I called actually picked up very fast. I told him, we are in trouble, please alert the neighborhood. In that moment, they started saying in Nyangore, Igura. Then I came out of the bathroom and came to the sitting room. They were in the windows. Every window that you see on that house had like 7 people peeping through it. They said, Igura. And I said, Tinkuzabu Igura. They literally meaning open. And I said, I'm not going to open. Then I sat on the stairs. And they broke the door, broke the windows. A swarm of men, big muscles, height so high, they looked the same. When I looked down, they had almost the same shoe size. That group is a group that is selected. You can see that they selected them according to height, to weight, to size, to color. And they belong from one tribe. They all swam in. At that moment, I looked down on the floor. Then I could see footsteps going to different directions of the house. Some going to the corridors, some going to the lounge, and some bypassed me on the stairs, and went upstairs. Now, in that moment, one of them came and told me, come and sit in the chair. I got off the stairs, I sat on the floor. Because in that moment, I wasn't sure my knees would allow me to stay in the chair. I sat on the floor. So he walked behind me, knelt behind me, and said, give me the phone. And I did this, I gave it to him. Then he said, remove the password. I said, I'm not removing the password. He said, in Runyankore, password. And I said, password Ndajihe. Then he walked past me with the phone, went outside, talked to some people, came in with 4 men. Extra. Already the sitting room has more men standing, some with hammers. Each one of them was armed. I have never seen such firearms. New, fresh. So ignore the other like 40, 50 that were in the sitting room. He called in new people. They came. When they came, he went back behind me. I was wearing my husband's nightie because these days I was feeling like I can't wear my nightie. Something is going to happen in that night. So I was wearing a biker, and on top of it, I was wearing the nightie. So he held the trousers of the nightie and pulled me up. Then he held the shirt of the nightie from the back. He was using one arm. So he held it, then he brought the phone in front of me and said, remove the password. I said, I have told you I will not remove the password. The one that he came with held me in the neck here and lifted me off my feet in the neck like this. So when he lifted me, in self-defense, I kicked him because he was in front of me. So I kicked him in the groin, and then he walked away. This one pulled me, the buttons of my shirt broke, and he stayed with my shirt in his hands. Now, I just walked away from them and went and stood in one corner. But remember, this is a house full of men. Some looked away. Some were unbothered. One of them said in Uganda, "Nedda nedda mama muddize sata yambali." Then one of them held his hand and walked him out. One of them picked the shirt and said, "Put up your hands and I dress you up." I said, "I can dress myself up, give me my shirt." Gave it to me, I put it on. Of course the buttons were not on. And then I sat down. When I sat down, they lifted me again. Now this time by these, because I play to these when I'm going to sleep. That same man held me by my hair, lifted me up. We have holes in the sitting room, and hit my head on the hole and slit my mouth. So when he hit me, he pulled me down and sat me down. Then he pushed my head and I went down, and they sat on me. I could feel 4 bodies seated on me. Then he said, "Will you give me the password?" I said again in Unyankore, "You have already done enough. You are not getting the password." There was someone who was like commanding them. He came in, he said, "What's happening here?" He said, "Leave her alone." Then he sat. Meanwhile, in that moment, they were already upstairs, creating havoc. The ones who were outside were beating our askari and the other boy that we lived with. Some other group was already in our helper's room, picking her up from her house. Now, they bring her, she's holding her cross and her Bible. She is new, she doesn't know anything. They ask her, "Where is the controller room of these cameras?" She said, "I am new, I don't know anything." They bring in the askari. They want to take him upstairs. He says, "I have never gone that side. I don't know what's there." They ask him, where is the basement? And he said, "I am new here. I know nothing like the basement." They ask him, "Where are the children?" And he said, "The children went for holidays after Christmas. Where did they go?" And he said, "I don't know." So in that moment, they were already picking the camera controllers. They were already picking the MiFi. They were already picking all the phones in the room. They took AirPods, chargers, power banks, hoofers, radios, anything electrical, laptops, everything. These people were drunk. The house was stinking. So in that moment, I realized that it was not going to end. They took the girl out, they took the askari out, and then they started asking me, "So you brought your brother to run on the Kampala MP seat. Did he win? You think you can just bring foreigners and bring them in Kampala and think they will win in Unyankole?" And then another one asked me and says, "Okashwego mwinazi w'Omuganda, Abanyankole okota kubaleba. You got married to I don't know what they call a mwinazi. What do they call a mwinazi in English? A mwinazi is like a traitor. It's like the worst person that there can be in the world." He said, "You married that traitor of a Muganda." were you not seeing them in your body? In that moment, I think out of rage, I started feeling dizzy. I started feeling hot. I asked for water. They brought me water. Those same people gave me my water. I drank it. And then the next time I got to see myself, I was sleeping in a pool of vomit on the veranda outside. And they were gone. So it is the Askari who drove me out and brought me here. In that whole mix, we still had the police, which has kept me under house arrest for 8 days. The other thing they kept asking me was, where is your husband? I told them I don't know where he is. They said, before we beat that round head of yours, where is your husband? I said, you can do whatever you like. I don't know where he is. They even asked the same thing to the Askari. And he said, he went to vote, he came back the next day, I didn't see him because I work in the evening, so I don't know what time. That's how it was. But by the time they left, they had broken all the doors. They had broken all the windows. You'll see the pictures. They had pulled down the TV. They had caused havoc everybody everywhere. Pulled my children's clothes out of wardrobes. Pulled beds out of the room. They had scratched the walls.